Hands down, the easiest way to control a third-party device through Q-SYS is by using a plugin that's designed to control
Hands down, the easiest way to control a third-party device through Q-SYS is by using a plugin.
What are you doing?
Well, I'm teaching the peeps about plugins.
Yeah, but you can't just jump in here and take advantage of all the planning and scripting it takes to make one of these, and then get all the credit by doing the easy part.
Well, sure I can. Well, it's like I'm a plugin. If you take a look at the schematic library under a folder called Plugins, you'll find your currently installed plugins. They'll be divided into two categories. Q-SYS managed plugins are plugins you downloaded from our asset manager, which we'll look at momentarily. The user folder will list any plugins you've acquired elsewhere. Within either folder, you'll find all of the installed plugins, usually categorized by manufacturer. Just as an example, let's take a look at two different Q-SYS plugins. I have an NEC multi-sync display that I want to control. Hey Nate, would you mind bringing that in for me?
Yeah, sure, whatever you want.
I also have a Shure MX wireless microphone cradle and receiver that I also want to control with Q-SYS.
There you go.
Using a plugin is exactly as easy as using any component in Designer.
You're the worst.
You just simply drag it into your schematic and then double-click it to open its control panel. For most plugins, all you really need to do is identify the device's IP address on the network, and you're ready to connect. In the case of this display plugin, you now have complete access to everything listed on this component. Power toggle, input switching, standby mode, you name it. Some plugins, like the Shure MicroFlex Wireless, were designed to provide control element for that device, but you'll need to add the audio portion into your design separately. In this case, either via AES-67 or an optional Dante card. You might have noticed that the visual appearance of these two plugins are dramatically different, as Q-SYS plugins are often designed to look very similar to the device's native control, whether those controls be physical controls on the device or on the web GUI. This is done intentionally so you can intuitively find the controls that you're looking for if you're already familiar with that device. Additionally, this means that you can take any of these controls and integrate them onto your user's UCI. This lets you get very specific with which controls a user has access to without giving them every single control that could potentially confuse them. The best way to find and install a plugin is to use the Q-SYS Designer Asset Manager. This cloud-based feature allows system designers to quickly and easily download and install new Q-SYS assets, including plugins, without having to wait for the new Q-SYS Designer software release. It's probably obvious, but worth mentioning that this cloud-based feature requires an active internet connection to work. You can open this interface by either clicking on this cog icon in the Plugins folder, or by going to the Tools menu and selecting Show Q-SYS Asset Manager. This screen has three different lists. The first list will let you browse all of the available managed plugins, listed alphabetically by a manufacturer name. Each plugin includes a detailed description, links to relevant product pages, imagery, and access to previous versions of the asset when reversion is necessary within a system design. Once you've found the plugin you need, simply select Install and it will be added to your plugins folder. The second list, Installed Packages, lets you review or remove each of the plugins you've already installed on your computer. And the third list will display any pertinent updates for your plugins you currently own. If this list is empty, then all of your plugins are up to date. You might also acquire a Q-SYS plugin from a manufacturer's website or an independent programmer. One of the coolest parts about Q-SYS is the available open API that allows a third-party manufacturer or an independent programmer the ability to build their own integration plugin. These plugins will come in the form of a single file, usually with the file name extension of Qplug. If you were to open one of these in a text editor, you'll discover that a plugin is really just a Lua script, which has been written by a programmer to mimic the behavior of a built-in Q-SYS object. To install a plugin, simply double-click the plugin and it will install itself. Alternatively, you could deposit this file into the Plugins folder, which you'll find in your computer's documents. Just follow the path of Q-SYS Designer. Once you've added the plugin to this folder, it will become available for use within Designer. If you want to give a plugin to somebody on your team, you can simply grab the file and attach it to an email, upload it to your server like Dropbox, or just place it on a USB drive and hand it to a friend. Here you go, Nate.
Oh, thank you so much.
Go away.
Oh.
Now, don't forget that since this is built in Lua, plugins are actually part of the Q-SYS scripting engine, which is a licensed feature option of the Q-SYS platform. You might have noticed that when we added a plugin to the schematic, you've got these little reminders at the top of the screen and in the inspector. If you're using Q-SYS Designer Software 7.0 or higher on a newer core and you'd like to deploy this plugin, chances are you'll need to get a feature license. You're still free to configure and test your plugins in emulation mode, but make sure you contact your Q-SYS sales partner and purchase a Q-SYS scripting engine deployment license before you deploy. The ordering process can take a few days to process, so don't wait till the last minute to get your license. For more details, make sure you check out our licensing tutorial or the Q-SYS scripting engine product page on QSE.com. Of course, not every device in the world has a plugin designed for Q-SYS yet. If you need to communicate with a third-party device that doesn't have a plugin, then you'll need to find some other method. If you only need to send simple strings to a device, you could use a command button. Or if you have more complicated two-way communication, you may need to explore the block controller or writing scripts, which we'll talk about in later videos. All right, Nate, take it away.
Oh, great, yeah. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.